John Zogby standing by right now. Jonathan, good morning. Ooh, should I say Jonathan? Is it officially Jonathan or no?
Oh, no, I'm John, and my oldest son, Zogby Analytics, is Jonathan.
It's Jonathan. All right. So,
yeah.
John, good morning.
Good morning.
All right. So, listen, I have this group that calls me from London. So I was on vacation, and they call. I don't know why. They want my opinion. I feel like I want to give them John Zogby's number because I'm just going to John, asking him, and repeating what John says. The fact is, so they asked me of all things the other day about they want a perspective from someone in the United States. Mm-hmm. So my answer was in regards to North Korea and South Korea. I don't believe this thing ever happens. I think the meeting happens just because the president really wants to meet with Kim Jong-un. I think it's surreal, and I think he's enticed by this. Even yesterday, talking about the celebration that they might have if a deal is done. I just found that to be a bit odd. Either way, it is not in the president's best interest to cut a deal that the North Koreans then can turn around and renege on. The best deal for the president is, I went in, I don't trust them, they wouldn't do this, they wouldn't do this, no deal. What do you think?
Well, you know, that's a win-win scenario for Trump, certainly not for Kim. I, for one, believe that something will happen, that it'll be big. I think the symbolism already of Kim crossing over into South Korea, you know, has been a major development. You know, to understand the supreme leader, like his father and his grandfather, you need to understand that he wants to be a player on the world stage. He wants to be respected. And how does he gain respect? You know, there are traditional ways of doing it, but in North Korea's instance, it's always been to tweak the other side, to make the United States bend. Do you remember there were two journalists that were kidnapped late in his father's regime, two Asian Americans, and all they wanted was Bill Clinton to fly over and a photo op with Bill Clinton, which he did, and they were immediately released. In this instance, this is a way of Kim playing a major role on the world stage, being recognized for it as among the key powers, albeit nuclear powers, in the world. And so I think he gets some leverage, he gets some recognition, he gets known as an historical figure who made something happen, gets to open up his economy a little bit, and why not do it with a fellow like Donald Trump, who's looking pretty much for the same kind of deal?
Hold on just a second. I'm going to finish writing down what you said. Okay.
I'll have the recording for you later, Bill.
It is. I mean, let's not forget that this is the guy who, and what I find so interesting is you took these two world leaders, these two characters that if you would have said 10 years ago this is what we'd be dealing with, we'd think this was a joke. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, let's not forget, Kim Jong-un is in the Dennis Rodman spectacle. Yeah. How he is enamored by things that are U.S. type things. So,
yes.
And here's a president that really wants to be the guy to accomplish great things, because this is what will shock the world, right? Who would think that this president would put a deal together that would ultimately finally end the Korean War? Wow.
Yeah, with Rocket Man. You know, you never know with Donald Trump, and he promised us that we would never know, that his tactics, on one hand, were going to be transparent, but on the other hand, he was going to hold his cards. Now, I'm not speaking up or speaking on behalf of Donald Trump, but this is very, very interesting. And if this is how the art of the deal is done, if this is a Nixon going to China sort of thing, hey, well, why not win this way?
Yeah. I've heard a lot of talk, especially if you watch Fox News at all. How are liberals handling this? The president is actually accomplishing something huge their minds are they're miscalculated. Everything is going wrong here because there's something good happening with this president. Your take on that?
Well, I do hear from Adam Schiff, for example, who has been leading the congressional investigation against Trump, the leading Democrat of the House Intelligence Committee, saying, "Hey, look, give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
This could be a big deal." Schiff has been nothing but a big critic of the Trump administration. If the Democrats are going to try to continue down the path of we're going to hell in a handbasket and everything this guy, the president, says or does is wrong, they're going to face a real surprise. They're going to have to deal with the fact that even though there are a lot of Americans who don't like the president, the economy is in decent shape, and there are some accomplishments in foreign policy that the president is making. There's also a tax cut. You can make the case that, hey, it's not a big tax cut. People haven't really quite felt it yet. They don't like the president's behavior. But if the Democrats are going to think that they're going to win and win big on down with whoever is up, they may have a surprise.
Yeah. What is your take on Netanyahu basically throwing a really easy pitch to the president yesterday as a means of getting out of this Iranian nuclear deal?
He had an audience of one, Donald Trump, and he played it to the hilt. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I don't know that there were any real surprises in what Netanyahu said. Obviously, you knew that going into this deal that Iran was not going to sit on its hands, was not going to just torpedo all of its nuclear developments. There is the International Atomic Energy Commission that comes in and does verification. They have issued periodic reports saying that Iran is adhering to the deal. Whether or not the deal was strong enough remains to be seen. The issue is, do you want Iran to rejoin the world of nations? Do we want to trade with Iran? Do we want Iran to thrive? It's a thriving Iran that allows that middle class, substantial middle class, reform middle class to thrive and to produce change over the next generation. A United States that is hostile to Iran makes a statement, obviously, to the Ayatollah, but alienates that middle class, much like we did for many years with Cuba.
Yeah.
Castro would have been gone years ago had we had free, open relations and trade with Cuba.
It was interesting to watch the two Rices at Hamilton College a few weeks back, Condoleezza Rice and Susan Rice, argue over the Iranian nuclear deal. And Condoleezza, the elder of the two, of course, Condoleezza with the Bush administration, bad deal. Yep. It was a bad deal. Of course, Susan Rice was a part of the deal that she feels is a good deal, the best thing that they could come up with. Condoleezza said also, though, we cannot get out of the deal. It would be very, very bad to get out of the deal. Yes, it's bad, but it'll be worse to get out of it. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're not the only players here.
Yeah.
There are other nations who are our allies that are part of it, who want to restore trade, who see a broader view of engaging with Iran. That just further isolates the United States.
All right, good stuff, John. We appreciate it as always. John Zogby. We'll talk again soon. Thanks.